It is good to be with you. I'm Jessica Layton, in for Joe and Savannah today. We begin this hour with the Trump administration's latest escalation in its pressure campaign against Venezuela. Overnight, President Trump revealed that the U.S. military conducted its first known strike inside the country. He says forces took out what he is calling a, quote, big facility on Venezuelan soil. NBC News has not been able to verify where or when the attack happened. But the White House secrecy around this move stands in stark contrast to the Pentagon's latest action in the Pacific. On Monday, the Department of Defense shared this video of another strike on an alleged drug boat in the Pacific. They say 2 people were killed. The administration says there have been at least 30 such strikes on these vessels since September, and more than 100 people have been killed. The Pentagon has not provided any evidence, though, to support their claims that the people on board these vessels are, quote, narco-terrorists. NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba joins us now with the very latest on this. Monica, good morning. There's a lot to get to on this today. Let's start with what more do we know about this attack inside Venezuela and the latest boat strike?
Yeah, it was so surprising and revealing, Jessica, that it was President Trump himself who revealed this in a radio interview a couple of days ago. This is not something that when we asked the White House, the State Department, CIA for additional details, they weren't able to offer any. And then when he was asked yesterday by reporters to give a little bit more information, he was the one that shared that this was a facility he called that was essentially on the shore. It was on a dock, appearing to be a place where, according to the president, he says these so-called narco-terrorists were assembling the alleged drugs that then they would transfer to the boats and launch from there. So he said that the U.S. essentially destroyed this facility, but again, didn't provide more information. But the reason this is significant and could be a major escalation is because the president has so far been threatening there could be strikes on land, but we didn't know about any until this one. This appears to be the first one, though. Is it possible that there could be others or others in the works that the U.S. has not made public? That's an open question as well. But this certainly takes this into a newer phase, signaling, Jessica, that there could be more of this to come, but also raising questions from Congress, who wants to know why the president made this decision. Is there going to be more to come? And also, they want to know if the president is going to do what many lawmakers believe he should do, which is seek congressional authority to perhaps take more military action. Jessica.
Monica, meanwhile, President Trump is monitoring another ongoing conflict. He spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin again yesterday as he continues to push for a ceasefire in Ukraine. Has the president shared any details from that conversation? And also, where do those negotiations stand this morning?
And it was their second such conversation in as many days. He spoke to President Putin by phone before he met with President Zelensky of Ukraine in person at Mar-a-Lago. In the phone call that he had yesterday with President Putin, at least just according to the president's own readout, he says that President Putin was upset and it conveyed that he was not happy with some strikes that Russia alleges came from Ukraine against one of his residences in Russia. Ukraine denies that. President Zelensky saying very emphatically that that was essentially a false assertion meant to derail the peace talks. So you had President Putin telling President Trump about this. President Trump said that's how he learned about it, and that if it happened, it wouldn't be very good, saying it would be very problematic. And Russia, for its part, has said that now it needs to reevaluate some of the key peace plan tenets. So things are still very, very complex. There are still many thorny issues to continue to address, and it doesn't seem that these talks have advanced to any kind of a breakthrough in recent days.
And on another diplomatic front, President Trump met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to advance phase 2 of his peace plan in Gaza. Now, following this meeting, he had some strong words for Iran and Hamas. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, some pretty strong warnings. And this is a situation where phase 1 of the ceasefire in Gaza has been largely successful. It has remained intact for the most part. But now phase 2 is really complicated when it comes to figuring out who's going to govern Gaza, the reconstruction of Gaza, and many other aspects. But in terms of Iran and larger security and stability in the region, President Trump had this warning in terms of potential ballistic missile programs or nuclear weapon rebuilding opportunities that Iran may be seeking, that Israel would want help with responding to.
Iran may be behaving badly. It hasn't been confirmed, But if it's confirmed, look, they know the consequences. Consequences will be very powerful, maybe more powerful than the last time. Usually, where there's smoke, there's fire.
So it's relevant here that he's talking about two different things: the ballistic missile program, which Israeli officials believe Iran is rebuilding, and then, of course, those nuclear sites that the president referenced, the U.S. bombing last summer, that could be also on the way to being rebuilt. But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu went to Mar-a-Lago to ask the president for potential help for the U.S. to join Israel. We'll see if that eventually happens, but some strong words there.
Monica, covering so much for us this morning. Thank you. Well, as 2025 winds down, one more round of powerful storms are making their way across the country this morning. The latest wintry blast is packing strong winds with gusts up to 50 miles per hour across the mid-Atlantic and up through New England. It has already dumped several inches of snow in the Midwest and Northeast. Forecasters say parts of western New York could get up to 36 inches of snow before it's all done. As you can imagine, this is causing major backups at airports as more than 8,000 flights were delayed and 1,500 more canceled on Monday. And there is more to come for air travelers today. On the highways, near whiteout conditions and icy roads are causing accidents across the country, like this semi-truck that slid off an overpass and caught fire in Michigan. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa is in Chicago this morning and has the latest. Maggie, good morning.
Hey there from Chicago, where we saw roughly an inch of snow here in the last 24 hours. This after temperatures, get this, dropped roughly 40 degrees in 12 hours. It was an incredible temperature swing, and temperatures have really stayed in this frigid, as you can see my breath here, below freezing range. And that's expected into much of the weekend. These winds wreaking havoc across the country. In Detroit, we saw dozens of cars involved in a pileup on I-75, slew of accidents really across the state, with wind gusts topping 70 miles per hour there. In Iowa, at least one person died following a 14-car crash there. And the severe weather also impacting air travel. Planes were struggling to land amid whipping winds in D.C. and even delays really across the country, topping more than 10,000 yesterday. More delays expected today. And again, during this kind of final holiday travel surge headed into the new year. Guys.
Maggie Vespa, thanks so much. And we've got a lot more on the conditions in the sky and on the road with your morning News Now weather. Meteorologist Kevin Jeans joins us now with that forecast. Wow, Kevin, a lot going on.
I know. Wind and snow, again, that's what we're talking about. So we're going to start with Jessica, and it's all across the Northeast now. So high winds, you do have some wind warnings, wind advisories. Higher elevations tend to have stronger wind gusts. But this is also going to be accompanied with some blowing snow, too. That's going to be moving across the Northeast. But 67 million people impacted. Peak wind gusts around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Again, higher elevations, there may be localized some gusts even higher than 50 miles per hour. But lake effect snow, although it's kind of a break today, it's going to pick back up this evening, tonight, and through the day tomorrow. So you have winter storm warnings, lake effect snow warnings, and winter weather advisories. That is just east of Cleveland and expanding eastward, northeastward, too, in the eastern edge of Lake Erie and Ontario. So right now, kind of a lull, still some lake effect bands, but not nearly as heavy as it was over the last 48 hours. Another Clipper systems moves across the Great Lakes, though, and into the Northeast. So you're looking at more lake effects setting up. Again, it's going to ramp up again this evening, tonight, and tomorrow. Outside of the lake effect, say across parts of Michigan and Wisconsin, just 1 to 3 inches there. But look at the lake effect again. Total over the next few days, 24 to 48 inches of snow by Friday. It is colder east. It is warmer west. That's the pattern, how it's going to hold through the rest of the week. So we are below average across the East Coast and above average out to the west. But temperatures for late in the week, New Year's Day, you're looking at highs only in the teens in Minneapolis to start out the new year. Chicago in the 20s, New York around the low 30s, Richmond, Virginia around the 40s. And then real quickly, just looking out west, flood risks, flash flood risk coming back New Year's Eve and New Year's Day across Southern California. Those areas that were hit hard with rain earlier, now more rain coming back. And Jessica, this could be the first Rose Bowl parade with rain in 20 years.
You're right. I cannot remember seeing a rain on the Rose Bowl parade day.
2006.
Oh, wow. All right, Kevin. Thank you. The suspect accused of planting pipe bombs at the Capitol near the Republican and Democratic Party headquarters 5 years ago told investigators that he felt extreme acts of violence were justified because he believed that the election was stolen. 30-year-old Brian Cole is accused of planting the bombs just hours before the January 6th Capitol riot. The devices never went off and no one was hurt. On Sunday, the Justice Department released a filing urging a federal judge to keep Cole behind bars while he awaits trial. The filing also says Cole confessed to the crime, saying he disliked both political parties and targeted the buildings because the parties were in charge. For more on this, let's bring in NBC News legal affairs reporter Gary Grumbach. Gary, good morning. So today, Brian Cole will face a hearing to determine if he'll be released before his trial starts. The filing from federal prosecutors provided a lot of information about Cole's alleged motive here, his state of mind, and the actions he allegedly took. What can you share about those details?
Yeah, hey there, Jessica. Yeah, the day he was arrested, investigators say they found pipe bomb making material in his home and in his vehicle that matched exactly which was the pipe bomb material that was found outside of the RNC and the DNC. They also went into great detail about the efforts he took to conceal his identity. You see him wearing a face mask in that video. He was wearing gloves as well. And they say he used disinfecting wipes to wipe down the pipe bombs before he placed them at the DNC and RNC to remove any fingerprints that may have been on them. He also wiped his cell phone more than 900 times between December of 2020 and the day he was arrested. So today we're going to hear oral arguments from both sides of the story here about whether this man is going to be detained pending trial. This is not an open and shut case in terms of the fact that he's going to be detained. Usually, for example, in a murder trial, you'd see a man detained pending trial. That's not necessarily the case here because, as his own team says, he poses no danger to the community.
So prosecutors say he confessed. What are we expecting to hear from his attorneys about all of this today? And by the way, has he entered a plea?
So he has not yet entered a plea. We expect that to come later on in this process. He has indeed confessed, according to prosecutors. I expect we'll hear more about that today. But the defense attorneys just minutes ago posted their reply to this, their opposition to the detention memo, saying he hasn't moved in the past several years. He hasn't fled. He hasn't changed his daily routine whatsoever, and he poses no threat to the community. They also say he's happy to comply with any court-ordered house arrest or ankle monitoring. They also say he was diagnosed with autism spectrum level 1, a mild form of autism, and he does suffer from OCD as well. So all of those are complicating factors, and the judge is expected to decide today whether or not he remains detained. Jessica?
Gary, before we let you go, there's also an update in the case of those 2 West Virginia National Guard members who were shot last month in D.C. The suspect appeared in federal court yesterday for the first time. What are we learning here?
Yeah, Ramanullah Lakanwal appeared in court yesterday. He was wheeled in a wheelchair. He kept his eyes closed most of the time. He was very much out of it. He didn't even seem to know how old he was when he was asked by the judge. He said 27 or 28, something like that was his quote. And that was a hearing just to inform him of the new federal charges against him. He was already charged with first-degree murder here in Washington, D.C., which is technically a state crime. He has now been charged with federal crimes, including transporting firearms into the district and transporting stolen firearms into the district, which are federal crimes here in Washington, D.C. He does face the potential of 60 years in prison if convicted. Jessica?
All right, Gary Grumbach, thanks so much. We have a new development this morning from that weekend mid-air helicopter crash in New Jersey. Officials say the second pilot who was involved has now died. Investigators are still searching for answers on how the collision could have even happened. NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda has the latest.
As investigators try to pinpoint what caused a mid-air collision between 2 helicopters, including this one seen spiraling.
100 Basin Road, 2 helicopters crashed.
Police confirming both pilots, the sole members on board, have died, identifying them as New Jersey residents 71-year-old Michael Greenberg and 65-year-old Kenneth Kirsch.
They apparently are friends and fly into the airport, have a meal together at the cafe that's there, and we're leaving together.
Authorities say the experienced pilots took off from Hamilton Municipal Airport outside of Philadelphia Sunday morning and were flying in close proximity before colliding and crash landing 1.5 miles away in a field near Caitlin Collins' home. She rushed to help one of the pilots before he was transported to the hospital.
So I just held his hand and told him everything was going to be okay.
The fiery aftermath sending plumes of smoke into the sky and leaving behind a trail of pieces from the main and tail rotors stretching 100 yards long, according to investigators seen on the ground. The NTSB says both helicopters will be moved from the accident site as the agency tries to uncover what led to this staggering scene in South Jersey. Emily Ikeda, NBC News.
Officials in Texas are sharing new images they believe show a missing teenager as they are asking the public for help finding her. 19-year-old Camila Mendoza Olmos has not been seen since Christmas Eve. Officials now warning they think she could be in danger. Local authorities released this video last night from the morning of her disappearance. Police believe it shows a person wearing clothes matching the description of what Camila was wearing, walking just blocks from her San Antonio home. NBC News correspondent Ryan Chandler has the latest.
Well, as day 6 of the desperate search for San Antonio's Camila Mendoza almost came to a close, still few answers for the family and friends who are hoping she makes a safe return home soon. Almost was last seen on Christmas Eve when the sheriff's department believes she walked away from her home, leaving her phone turned off in her bedroom. I spoke with the Almost family the other day, spoke with her mother and brother who told me that she's not the type of girl to walk away from home unannounced. They said that she had been going through a tough time, but nothing out of the ordinary, and they're pleading with the public who may know anything about where she went to come forward with any information. The sheriff also tells us that they don't have any real concrete theory of the case at this time, but they're considering a number of possibilities. One of those comes from evidence that they found on that phone pointing to signs of depression and suicidal ideation. They say they're not prepared at this time to say that Olmos harmed herself, but it is one of many possibilities, including a possibility that she left the country or had been kidnapped. The FBI is now assisting to examine digital evidence, Homeland Security, checking border crossings and international departures. But still, they cannot say for certain what exactly happened at this time. Now, though, we know that the Almost family is continuing to ask the public for support, expressing their gratitude and optimism for a community that has shown so much strength. They tell us in a new statement that we know God is going to help us bring her back home safely, and with the support of the community who continue to show us that there are still good people in this world, and we truly feel strengthened. Now, as we enter day 7, the sheriff says that they are only ramping up their efforts in the hope that Olmos will show up home safely soon.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.